welcome to the Cycles of Hope shop. Today we have another episode of COH How To, and today we're going to talk about how to assemble a 26-inch single-speed cruiser bicycle. Stay tuned, you guys. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is fix this down tube on the bicycle because the clamping mechanism is broke. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to grind this side off and use a Allen key clamp or a quick release clamp instead of using the clamp that was on the bicycle to begin with. So let's grind this off. Right there. Okay, that's the clamp we use. Now we got to install the seat and the seat post. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is install the seat post into the seat clamp that's on the seat. So let's install it and then tighten up the nut on the side. And that nut is usually a number 14 millimeter. After you get the seat installed onto the seat post, coat about a 3-inch section of the bottom of the seat post with anti-seize. You won't believe it, but a lot of times these seat posts get stuck due to galvanic action where two dissimilar metals cause corrosion, and if the seat post is steel and the frame is aluminum, then the seat post will get stuck inside the down tube because of galvanic action and corrosion and rust. So we'll just coat the seat post pretty liberally with some anti-seize, and then we'll install it on the bike. All right, so we'll go ahead and install it on the bike and get it and make sure it's straight with the frame of the bike, and then just tighten up the clamp. All right. Next step is to install the front forks, the handlebar stem, and the handlebars. All right, you guys, this is the setup for this particular bike, the forks and headset of this cruiser bicycle. And this cruiser bicycle has a threaded headset, and on it has a crown race, a bushing, 2 sets bearing retainers, a threaded cup, upper cup, a lock washer, and then a lock nut. So we'll install this now. We'll first slide the bushing on to the crown race, then slide the bearings on, and then you'll put the fork into the head tube of the bicycle. After you do that, place another set of bearings into the cup of the bicycle. Before you move on, you want to go ahead and pack these bearings with grease. Just a little bit of grease just to make sure they don't corrode. After you pack it with grease, screw on the top cup. Wipe off the excess grease. Next, slide on the keyed lock washer. There's a key on it, and it only goes on one way. It has a little notch on there, and it only goes on in one way. Slide that on. And then last but not least, slide on the lock nut on the top. After the forks and headset have been installed, now we can install the handlebar stem and the handlebars. All right, this particular stem has a angled nut on the bottom of it that when you tighten it up, it is actually pulled upward like this, and it grips the inner side of the head tube and tightens inside the head tube like so. So when it's loose, it slides in, you tighten the nut, it slides up, and then tightens against the inside of the head tube. So we'll go ahead and install this, and it installs with a Allen key. I think it's a number 6. And again, there's a minimum distance you're supposed to insert this tube. So go down to where the minimum line's located, and then tighten it down, making sure that it's straight with the forks and with the frame of the bicycle. Once you have the handlebar stem installed, install the handlebars. Just slide them in, center them on center of the handlebars with the handlebar stem. Get the handlebars in the position you like, and then tighten the Allen bolts down with the number 6 Allen key. Once we get the handlebars installed, we'll go ahead and install 2 handlebar grips on the handlebars. Sometimes these handlebar grips can be a pain to get on. So what I'll do is I'll take just a little bit of grease and put it on the handlebars at the end where the grips go on, and then they slide right on, and then you can tape them with electrical tape. All right, there we go. See, yeah, it's pretty hard to get them on. So anyways, now the handlebar grip's installed, and if you want to, you can tape up the ends of the handlebar grips. That way they don't slide off with the grease. First, what you can do is go ahead and wipe off the excess grease. After the grease has been wiped down, go ahead and tape up the ends. All right, the next step in the process of building the bike is to install the bottom bracket and the cranks. So we got to find the right cups for the bottom bracket, the right bearings, the right bottom bracket shaft, and cranks for this. So the first is the left side cup. Okay, before installing this cup, make sure you coat the threads with anti-seize. And this cup goes on counterclockwise. It tightens to the left since it's on the left side of the bike. All right, once we've got the rear cup on, we'll go ahead and take the bottom bracket shaft, slide a bearing on, like so, pack it with grease, and slide it into the bottom bracket. Take your other set of bearings, and in the other cup of the other side of the bottom bracket, go ahead and put the bearings inside like so, and pack those with grease, and then slide them onto the bottom bracket. And this goes on clockwise on this side. So the next step in the process is installing cranks. So we'll install this crank on this side. Once you have the crank arms in place, use these hexagon bolts or Allen key bolts. They make them in 2 types, hexagon or Allen key bolts, and you can bolt it in place. We'll do the same thing on the other side. we'll install the pedals to the cranks. And these pedals are for a right side. The right side's the drive side. It'll say R on the pedal itself. On the end of the pedal, it'll say R. And the right side is the drive side, and it goes on clockwise for the left side of the bike, or the non-drive side of the bike, and it tightens counterclockwise. They also make these in 2 different diameters. They make a 9/16 thread for your pedal, and they also make a 1/2 inch thread for your pedal. Use a pedal wrench to tighten it up all the way. After we install the cranks onto the bottom bracket, the next step is to install the wheels. These wheels for the cruiser bikes are coaster brakes. Here's your coaster brake, and it bolts to the frame of the bike. Don't tighten it up all the way, because we got to put a chain on it, and we might have to adjust the spacing of the wheel to tighten the chain. Okay, so this is where the coaster brake attaches to the bike. So you need a clamp, a metal clamp that has holes on the ends in order to tighten the coaster brake onto the frame of the bike. And again, don't tighten this up all the way just yet. All right, for the front wheel, we're gonna have to install the tube and the tire. So I'll go ahead and do that now. And then once it's installed, we'll inflate it with air. Then we'll install a valve stem cap, and then install the wheel onto the bike. Make sure the tread is going opposite of the way you think it should go, since the bike is upside down. All right, the final step of the process of assembling a cruiser bike is just to install the chain. And it needs to be a chain designed for 1 to 3 speed bikes. 1/2 inch by 1/8. These packs come with a master link, but you might have to make the chain shorter, so we'll do that now. All right, so we'll take these, we'll take the chain breaker tool, and we'll go ahead and take 2 more links off of the chain. Pop the 2 chain links off. Take the master link for the single speed chain. Open it up. It has 3 pieces. It has a piece with both pins and the side of a link. It has the other side of the link, and then it has a lock, kind of like a lock clip, a locking clip. You're gonna want to put the pin. You can probably put it facing out so you know where the master link's at, and then slide the other link into the other pin, like so. Put the other sidewall piece on the link. Like so. And then with a pair of needle nose pliers, put the clip in place and lock it in place with a pair of needle nose pliers. Just like that. Now it's locked in place. Next step will be to see how far we have to adjust this wheel to get this chain tight. Now just make sure it works. All right, to tighten up the coaster brake, we need a number 10 socket on the other side, and then a number 5 Allen key on this side. And just tighten it down as tight as you can get it. Get it really snug. That'll work. The last thing we want to do is go ahead and install 2 reflectors on the bike. That way it's a little more visible. Now when you ride at nighttime, they require you to have lights on your bike, rear lights and a headlight. Alright you guys, this cruiser bicycle has been fully assembled and it is ready to test ride. So I'm going to go ahead and test ride it. I just want to say thank you for watching the video. Hope you learned something new. I just want to say thank you to all my family, affiliates, and friends. God bless you guys, and see you in the next one.